So to start off, we're going to kick off with our introduction session, and Imperial will start with the first, and I'm going to hand over shortly with them. If you hold on, I've just handed over to Jake. So Jake, if you'd like to take over, please, that'd be great. Thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, cool. Thank you very much, Petrova, and welcome again to our second day of the WCSiL conference. Really glad to have you all here listening to us sort of delivering this session live from London. So we're going to start with an aerial photo of our main campus, South Kensington, from Imperial, which is located in central heart of London. We're also surrounded by 3 world-class museums. So if you have already been to London before, you probably have already rubbed your shoulders with our students on your way to the museums. So all of these museums actually attract millions of visitors and tourists every year. So we think our central London location has a huge advantage for our students, particularly studying at Imperial. This can be, students' sort of launch pad to a life-changing career. On the slide, you can see that there's also the green logo around the corner. So basically, it's something we are really proud and also very fortunate to be named as University of the Year 2022. The news actually comes as the college's student certification, which is measured in the sort of national student survey, reaches at all-time high. So Imperial takes a further Good University Guide Award as University of the Year for Student Experience 2022. Now, for the next couple of minutes, I'm going to use some really sort of big numbers to impress you and also talk you through what Imperial offers and what I really believe Imperial can give your students an excellent higher education. So on the slides, you can see Imperial as the UK's only one university which specializes in teaching science, engineering, medicine, and the business programs. So we are really unique in that way. As a university, we're really focused, and also we are like a specialist. We kind of represent everything that's most exciting about science, engineering, medicine, business, STEM B subjects. This is also a place where, so that our engineers will be working alongside doctors, clinicians. Scientists will be sort of rubbing shoulders with designers, and business experts will be collaborating with lots and lots of mathematicians as well. So as a result of that, our student population is not as large as some of the multi-faculty universities you may have seen. So our community may be a little bit smaller compared to many other multi-faculty universities, but we are also deliberately small and also very research focused. So with overall 22,000 students studying at Imperial, we do have a very equal split between our undergraduate cohort and postgraduate cohort. We're also extremely proud to say we are very global and also international as a community. So we are attracting some of the best people from around the world to work with us. Our researchers and collaborate on a huge range of international projects and partnerships with institutions across the global as well. So as one of the sort of most international universities in the world, 62% of students at Imperial actually come from outside the UK, with 138 different nationalities represented on campus. We're so proud of our diverse community here, whilst sort of creating that kind of environment where all students feel a sense of belonging, and also they are actively participating in our community activities, which we believe will sort of enhance that kind of overall student certification and experience, allowing them to thrive during the time when they study here as well. And 3 faculties, very easy to remember. So we don't have a huge amount of modules and courses and kind of things. So 3 faculties at Imperial representing some of the best talents amongst our students and the staff members. So we only have just over about 110 different undergraduate degree programs for students to choose from. Our departments also share extremely close links. So the smaller we are, the more closely we kind of work with each other. So that kind of means a much higher level of transdisciplinarity. For example, student choice may include modules from outside the subject. That could be from engineering or biology or biotech when they study in medicine, or perhaps when they're doing molecular engineering, they could all be doing something to do with mathematicians using data to look at some of the projects they do. So this gives students access to a even bigger pool of research, but also much greater freedom to follow their own interests as well. So for example, our final year engineering students can take part in our sort of interdepartmental exchange scheme. They get knowledge and experience in other engineering disciplines. So understanding sort of the value of different perspectives at Imperial is a very important part of how we work. We also place a lot of emphasis on, say, problem-solving skills and analytical skills, really sort of encouraging students to develop as an independent thinker who we think they can formulate their own theories and ideas, which is why, you know, our degree have been so designed to give students that kind of increasing freedom as the course progresses. So we think this is going to allow students to tailor the education to their own interests and career plans with some of the world-leading experts we have at Imperial. And by now, you probably already think we're really specialized, and we are, you know, very focused university. We only have so many engineering branches at the moment. We don't teach any general engineering courses. So currently just 10 engineering departments, meaning 10 specialized engineering disciplines. At Imperial, we don't teach any general engineering programs at all. So we are kind of looking for that kind of future engineers who want to pursue specialized engineering from day one. 5 natural science specialisms offer our students a really incredibly hands-on experience of kind of discovering that kind of traditional pure science subjects and also developing their own expertise in real world. We also have doctor training programs and also non-doctor training program, which is called the Medical Biosciences, which kind of addresses the critical challenges human beings facing at the moment in this kind of research-intensive laboratory-focused departments. So at Imperial, our students are incredibly ambitious, but also as a college, we have many, many ambitions. But one thing we kind of focus on is that we do teaching research in order to be useful and to be applied to the real world. And that's kind of the DNA of Imperial degree. So our kind of strategy is really built on sort of underpinning foundations that make Imperial a great academic institution and also talented international inspirational people who make up our community. They contribute to their specialist expertise to finding new solutions to some of the world's biggest challenges. We have tremendous strength in that kind of core disciplines sort of practiced by our departments as well. So this was kind of demonstrating in some of the latest research excellence framework, in which over 90% of research submitted by Imperial was judged to be world's leading or internationally excellent. So this type of excellence we have is kind of broadly found across all our departments. So obviously now, you know, it applies equally to our research outputs, impact, and environment as well. So you may be wondering, this is so academic and so focused, what do your students do? Our focus on STEM subjects means a high proportion of our staff and students are extremely interested in entrepreneurship as well. So when they are doing all these wonderful, lovely experiments in the laboratory, we can also want our students to understand how to roll things out to make things commercially successful. You know, entrepreneurship really offers our students a really important route to providing that kind of societal economic benefits from their own work. So that kind of spirit kind of flows through the entire college. With over 2,000 students engaging in our sort of own enterprise lab, which is called Imperial Enterprise Lab, generating millions of investments, and we have encouraged our students to take off their own business ideas, invested in creating a really vibrant entrepreneurship support ecosystem. So this kind of support will be provided to students free of charge from day one if they want to start this kind of journey, and also to really help them establish that kind of startup ideas and make sure the idea is going to grow as well. Imperial College Uni, which probably quite well known, you know, in London. So we have a huge amount of activities for students to participate in. So at the moment, Imperial 380 different club societies. 1,000 students actually take part in these activities. Joining one of these activities, you could be doing so many fun things, you know, from Kung Fu to public debating and drama society to orchestra, computing robots to drone society, Harry Potter, hot chocolate society, all these different kind of things, really engaging students with different activities, allowing them to sort of build capabilities and support networks. outside academics. So that college journey and beyond, obviously, this is something we kind of continue building in this kind of supportive, diverse, inclusive, international environment, which obviously, you know, we always believe that everyone is going to be welcomed at Imperial, which, you know, we believe we have zero tolerance for discrimination, bullying and harassment, no matter who they are, what they do, or where they come from. That's everything from me, and that's also Imperial in a nutshell. If you do want to explore the college in a little bit more details, feel free to join our Connect sessions, and I'll speak to my colleagues. They're currently online to sort of guide you through some of the Imperial specific questions and provide you some answers that you have. And also, if you do want to divert your students to have a look at the campus as well, we do have a virtual tour designed for international audiences. So feel free to come online. You can see some of the laboratory images and some of the open day talks. Recordings will be uploaded online, free to watch as well. And if they do want to chat to our students to have a look, you know, dig around about, you know, what kind of course they do, what sort of their experience are, feel free to use the link in the middle of the screen and chat to our current students. Give us a follow on social media as well. There'll be plenty more updates coming up as well. So that's all from me. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Jake. I'm just going to hand over to Rory.
Thank you. Right. There we go. All right. So, hey guys, my name is Rory. I'm the Student Recruitment Manager for the Americas at King's College London. And over the next few slides, I'll give you an overview of King's and what we have to offer our students. So King's is a large and welcoming university based across 5 campuses in central London. 4 of our campuses are based along the River Thames and 1 further down in South London. King's is quite a large university, as mentioned, and is home to over 33,000 students. Just under half of those are from 150 different countries outside of the UK. This makes for an exceptionally diverse community and academic experience for King's students right in the heart of London. Founded in 1829, King's is the 4th oldest university in England and currently ranked 3rd best university in London and consistently ranked in the top 35 in the world. King's students study in a historic and enriching environment in one of our 9 faculties. These include law, medicine, business, nursing and midwifery, arts, humanities, psychology, dentistry, social sciences, natural, mathematical and engineering sciences. So we have a huge variety of courses, close to 200 undergraduate level in total. Our traditional courses like law, medicine and business are some of our more competitive programs, but with equally reputations in the likes of international relations and more recently computer science. These 2 have become some of our most popular undergraduate degrees. Our students have the opportunity to combine courses to create joint honours programs, so they have a wider choice of modules to pick from, as well as years in industry, study abroad opportunities as well, and internship modules. So King's students graduate with a well-rounded education, transferable skills, and real-world experience. Research underpins all of our teaching at King's and has been a central part of King's culture since our founding. There are also records of medical research associated to what would later become King's College London, dated back to the 1100s. Students usually complete a dissertation in their 3rd year of studies at King's, like at most UK universities as well. But we also give opportunity for our students to take part in research by supporting our academics on projects over the summer months of their 1st year. And this can often be paid work too. So this gives students hands-on experience of solving real-world challenges. Like some of the institutions here today, we're part of the Russell Group of research-intensive universities, and we've, of course, been successful in securing large sums of research grants to help with our cutting-edge work. Our alumni include 12 Nobel laureates, globally recognized individuals such as the late Archbishop Desmond Tutu, Professor Rosalind Franklin, whose pioneering work helped lead to the discovery of the DNA, and also Olympic athletes like Dina Asher Smith. So our careers and employability team are really active at King's, and their role is to support our students throughout their time, from one-to-one guidance, application support, interview practice, and ultimately to help secure job placements. Students can also use their services for 2 years after graduating, which also falls neatly in line with the new graduate visa as well. We have an award-winning entrepreneurship institute, which helps kickstart students' business ideas and grow them into successful enterprises. Our students get professional as well as monetary support to help them scale up their ventures, from brainstorming ideas to real-life products and services. We offer students the opportunity to taste what university life is like before officially joining us by taking part in a pre-university summer school. Our intensive 2-week subject areas. Your students get to live in King's accommodation, and studying on campus gives them amazing insight into what university life is really like. With the add-on of social experiences, exploring London, it gives your students an unforgettable experience and may well help your students decide on which institution is best for them. So certainly something I'd encourage them to do. We also offer our own in-house international foundation year for students not studying the equivalent of A-levels, and includes thorough subject-related content and academic English preparation. This is a great stepping stone to undergraduate study, and also offers guaranteed offer of a place if students pass the year for most of our courses. So again, a great way of securing a place at a competitive university. We also have a very active student union, which offer a huge number of ways to get involved on campus, over 350 sports clubs and societies. It's a great way for your students to build up their network and friendship groups. So whether they make friends whilst whipping up a cake in the baking society, or meeting friends from their area of the world through the India Society or Canadian American Society, just to name a few, our societies are welcoming to all students. And oh, bear with me, I may have gone too far there. Bear with me. Oops, oops, oops. I'm not sure if I'm able to go back here. My internet connection seems to be very slow. Apologies for that.
Hi, Rory, would you like me to take over for you?
Yeah, sorry, my
Okay.
internet seems to have.
No, that's fine. Your sound is breaking up a bit as well, just to let you know.
Right,
But
okay.
I will, shall I move on from this slide?
Just the final King slide for me, please.
Okay, yeah, okay, no problem. Right there.
There we go. Thank you. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So finally, just from King's, in 2029, we will reach our 200-year anniversary, and one of our key pillars of the vision since our founding has been our service to society. Focusing on world-leading education, research and access for students, King's values are upheld in all departments, working together for the common goal of making the world a better place. King's operates itself in close alignment with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and is currently ranked 11th in the World Impact Rankings 2021. Internationalization is another key component, and our vision with programs in place to underpin this. So our students get the opportunity to broaden their experience by studying abroad at one of our 300 partners worldwide. Also internship opportunities. Some of our students have secured placements in the likes of Hong Kong, USA and Australia, just to name a few. When in London, students at King's live in our accommodation, which is either on campus or a short walking distance away. This is guaranteed for all international students. And this guarantee also applies for our foundation year students, which gives them 2 years of King's accommodation. Each student gets their own private room, so no need to worry about sharing with other students, which sometimes is the case in the US. And residences are all conveniently located with 24/7 security, so it's very secure for all of our students. We also offer residencies for under 18 students, as well as all female accommodation, so everyone can feel comfortable in their living space. And upon graduating, students will become part of our global alumni community of over 370,000 alumni. Being part of the alumni groups in their local cities or countries can really bring students together after graduating. So whether it be through socials or reunions or networking events, as well as career mentorship through King's. And finally, please join us in the Connect rooms to meet myself and the rest of the student recruitment team at King's. We're a friendly bunch and happy to help. So if you have any questions, please feel free to ask away. And you can also get connected with the student recruitment manager for your region. So thanks for bearing with me there, guys. And thanks for listening. I'll hand over to LSE now. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Rory, and the preview you gave to my slides. Thank you for that. Hello, everyone. Lovely to be here with you. My name is Will Abrea Hall. I'm the Student Recruitment and Study Abroad Manager at LSE. I know these introductions turn into a bit of a spot the difference competition, so apologies for some of that. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what you might find useful to know when you're advising your students about LSE. And we'll begin with the slide you're looking at here. If we just go back to that, please. The overview, the aerial view of LSE's location. For your students, London is their social science laboratory. We are absolutely smack bang in the centre of the city there. The institutions and the organisations that your students are studying in our classrooms are on their doorstep. In central London. So we encourage them to make the most of that, just as we make the most of that as well. We have a very, very compact campus. You can walk across it in about 90 seconds if you walk quickly, maybe 2 minutes if you walk slowly. It's a small site, vibrant and lively and dynamic and cosmopolitan, noisy, ugly and dirty as well, you could argue, but far less of the latter. More of the former. Not green and pleasant, quite clearly, no dreaming spires, but very much part of the real world. Your students, we would encourage them to be mature and independent to make the most of that location. Next slide, please. What is LSE? Well, it is, most importantly, the London School of Economics and Political Science. The and political science is very important. We teach far more than just economics. We do teach economics, wouldn't it be odd if we didn't, but it isn't the majority of what we teach. The vast majority of what we deliver at LSE is essay-based qualitative social science. Wide range of social science subjects, but only those, no natural sciences, no arts, no humanities, purely social science. 43 undergraduate degrees next year, all of those, or the vast majority of those, 3 years in duration. This year, we currently have just over 12,000 students, so we're not one of the largest institutions you'll be hearing from today, relatively small. 47% of our students are undergraduates and 66% of our students come from outside the UK. You'll be tested on all of these statistics later, so do take note. Over 140 countries represented in our student body, speaking over 100 different languages, and about 40% of our staff come from outside the UK as well. So you get the picture. We're a very international, global institution, but located right there in the heart of London. We were founded in 1895, so we're not terribly old, but we're fairly well established now. Founded for the betterment of society. That's what our founders stated at the time, a laudable aim. They wanted to train the policymakers of tomorrow. And the school's motto means to understand the causes of things. So if you think you have students who are interested in achieving those objectives, LSE might well be a good place for them. Next slide, please. What does the LSE student experience look like? Well, as you've heard from others already, we're also a member of the Russell Group. We're a research-intensive institution, and the research our academics are undertaking every day directly informs the education that your students receive in our classrooms. It is that very much real-world focused education. When your students go home at the end of the day, they turn on the television news, they see what's going on in the world, they have this potentially unique insight into world events. because they're being taught by academics at LSE who are helping shape policy, not just in the UK, but around the world. Just as our founders hoped that your students in the future will go off and make that positive difference as well. All those 3-year degrees that we offer, 1 or 2 4-year programs as well, but mainly 3-year degrees, taught in a mixture of lectures and classes, but perhaps only 10 or 12 contact teaching hours a week. So when you're advising your students about LSE, I'd encourage them to think about how best they learn. We really are looking for very independent, self-motivated students. Students who are passionate, committed, enthusiastic about their studies. Those types of students will do very well at LSE because the education is quite hands-off. 10 or 12 contact teaching hours, 15 to 20 hours a week of personal independent study. But having said that, we don't just leave them to sink or swim. We do look after them whilst they're at the school, and there are very comprehensive support facilities, everything from the very academic to the more personal and pastoral. Complemented by the Students' Union and many different clubs and societies, 23 acres of playing fields, which may surprise you. Lots of different activities for them to get involved in. Your students will never be bored whilst they're at LSE. They might be poor whilst they're at LSE, but they won't be bored whilst they're studying with us. Speaking of money, though, on a more positive note, financial aid is available to both UK and overseas students. So I'd strongly encourage anybody interested in the school to have a look at what financial support we might be able to offer them. That's not just for UK students, that's overseas as well. And at the end of all of this, LSE graduates are very highly sought after in the UK and overseas. 93% of our graduates go into work or further study within 15 months of graduation. Next slide, please. And the admissions process, well, let's start this slide on a rather negative note. LSE, like so many of the institutions you're hearing from today, is, I'm afraid, competitive. It isn't easy to secure a place at the school, and I'm afraid this does often mean that our selection process is somewhat slower than you may experience at other institutions. I'll flag that up now. I know that some of your students are waiting to hear from LSE a little longer than other institutions. The reason for that is quite simple: the sheer volume of applications we receive for the number of places we have available. The application process is very level, though. It's a level playing field. We have no interviews at LSE. It is purely the UCAS application that we're reviewing when we consider your students' applications. And in that context, in that sense, the personal statement component is particularly important. So I really do encourage anybody interested in the school to research that aspect in detail. For those of you listening to this presentation in the UK, the school operates a contextual admissions process. We take contextual information about applicants and we look at that to determine whether we can make an offer maybe 1 or 2 grades below the normal standard offer. That's for UK applicants. Essentially, research is one of the most important aspects of any competitive application. So I do encourage students to research fully before they apply, but our process is transparent. We are not trying to hide anything. So for you as an advisor and your students, have a look at the web resources we've made available to both you and your students. Everything we want you or your students to know about is there on the website. We don't keep anything hidden from you. So do have a look at all of that. There, for instance, is information on writing a reference, which you in particular may find helpful. And as others have said, we look forward to meeting you in person, virtually perhaps in person, through the Connect rooms later on. That's it from me and LSE. I will now hand over to Kim and SOAS.
So hello everybody, my name's Kim. I'm Head of Student Recruitment at SOAS. Many of you may have come across me in a number of other sessions, both included in this conference or maybe just through our website. We are a bit of a smaller team at SOAS, so you do get to know us very well in terms of all of the events that we run. And that is really kind of also the view of the university, in that we are a smaller university, a very close-knit community, and all of our students engage with our staff very closely as they go through our programs. So in terms of SOAS, we are very much maybe the opposite end if you think about back to the presentation of Imperial. So whereas Imperial are a very specialist university looking at the STEM subjects, SOAS is very much looking at the social sciences and the humanities, and we don't offer any STEM whatsoever. So we are a specialist in that area, but the other kind of guiding theme that we have as a university is that we are looking at tackling the global issues of today, but really from the perspective of the most sort of the most disadvantaged and the underrepresented. So we're kind of looking at tackling issues around that. And we are a very regionally based university in that we offer a global perspective, but looking at different regions of the world. So that includes Africa, the Middle East, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and East Asia. And so our students can choose, if they want to, throughout their degree, to have a very, very specialized regional focus. And that's something that's really unique to SOAS, and you'll be hard pushed to find that kind of option elsewhere in the UK or internationally. In terms of why you might want to study at SOAS, we are located in the heart of London, so we're in Bloomsbury. It's harder to get any more central than that. We are a smaller campus, so we have 4 main buildings, but we believe that we teach very much using London as our campus, and in also obviously engaging in studies around the world as well. In terms of where we are, we're a very, very short walk from Russell Square Tube Station, very short walk from King's Cross railway station, and we're also within what we call the Museum Mile. So there's lots of museums and galleries very closely close walk to us. In terms of our subject areas, we are a global top 50 university for arts and humanities, but many of our subject areas also feature very strongly in world rankings. So if you think of our development studies, for example, ranked 6th in the world. If you look at our anthropology, 13th, then our politics, 21st. So we are a small university, but we like to think of ourselves as small but mighty. We have world-class facilities. That includes our National Research Library, which is one of only 5 national research libraries in the UK, and also our language centre, which offers over 30 different languages, and many of them not offered at other institutions. So for instance, if you want to take Swahili, if you want to take Sanskrit, if you want to take Tibetan, if you want to take Persian or Cambodian, we offer all of those, as well as offering Arabic, Mandarin and Cantonese, Japanese, Korean, and so forth. We also have small class sizes, so we're really looking at having strong engagement with our students. So if you're looking at your seminar or tutorial classes, those will be anywhere from 8 students up to 15 to 20 at the most. And even in terms of our lectures, they do tend to be smaller lectures than you would get elsewhere. We do have a very flexible and interdisciplinary approach to our studies. So obviously you will focus in on one area, but I would like to think we're kind of like the bridge between a UK degree and a US degree, in that all of our students will have the opportunity to take at least 2 modules, what we call open modules, in any other subject area that we teach within our program. And even though we are a smaller university of only 6,300 or so students, we have over 250 different degrees that you can take within our social sciences and humanities at the undergraduate level, and 200 at the postgraduate level. And really kind of the thought process we have in that is that when our students go out and walk on campus, we hope that they could enjoy a lecture and kind of be really kind of enthusiastic about it, walk out into the main courtyard, stop at any other student and start having a discussion with them about it. And even if that student hasn't been in that lecture, because of the very interdisciplinary and interconnected programs that we run, they will still be able to hold a good dialogue about that particular issue. We have a very diverse and international student population, so 54% of our student body is from outside of the UK, and we have a very even split between our UG and our PG, with about 49% UG and about 51% PG. So again, as I say, we're looking at tackling global challenges of the world today from lots of different perspectives, and we believe every perspective is worth looking at. We do ask the question a lot, is West always best? And I think that that seeps through a lot of our different programs and topics and modules. And we really look at, how are we going to tackle issues? And I think COVID has been a really great example of that in terms of looking at that's been a global issue. It's affected every country around the world. And actually, how have different countries dealt with that? And how does that play into, if you're looking at anthropology, if you're looking at politics, if you're looking at economics and all of those issues. We have a very extensive careers services opportunities at SOAS. So our careers services really help our students from day one, and we try and get our students to interact from day one. So you can set up a profile that can include what you hope to do in the future, experience that you've already had, and students can change that throughout the time that they're with us, because we do think that will likely change from when a student starts a program to when they end a program. That will include things like having particular internships sent through to them that match their profile. It will include CV preparation, it will include interview skills, it will include presentation skills, it will include access to a database so students can see what jobs are available both in the UK and internationally, and also includes our alumni mentorship scheme, where they can have mentors from different countries who help them to understand what it might be to work in the UK but also internationally. And our students study alongside other students and staff who are looking to make a difference in the world. Lastly, you can see all of our details here in terms of interacting with us. We have our open days, we have our webinars, we have a lot of open lectures as well. So even if students are just interested in seeing what it might be to study anthropology, what it might be to study development, they can go to any of our open lectures, which we have in person, but also online. So thank you all for listening to me today. I hope that gave you a snapshot of SOAS.
Thanks, Kim. Hello, everybody. My name is Neil Green. I'm Head of International Student Recruitment here at UCL. UCL is how we're more commonly known, but some of you, maybe those of you who are tuning in from overseas, may know us as University College London, which was our original and is our long-form name. I think of the institutions that are here today, we are, it's fair to say, the oldest. First institution, first university established in London in 1826, and the third oldest in England after Oxford and Cambridge. UCL, its founders really sort of disrupted everything when they created the institution, because they wanted higher education to be available to students of all religions and none. And therefore it was created in direct competition with the universities of Oxford and Cambridge. And also it was quite groundbreaking as well, and has been over its history, in that it's constantly looked to push the boundaries of what is taught. So it had the first departments of mechanical engineering, first department of economics, first department of statistics. And it's something that we like to continue today, to constantly scanning the horizon for new disciplines and new programs, which we think will be of interest to prospective students. Today, the university has approximately 49,000 students. So as well as being the eldest institution of those here today, it's also the largest. And we have those students studying across 11 different faculties, and approximately 73 departments, which really cover the full academic range. So whereas the likes of Imperial have their real specialisms in terms of the STEM subjects, the LSE and SOAS and the social sciences, UCL has a real marriage of the arts and the sciences, which is evident across the program portfolio. So we offer approximately 400 different combinations that are available to students at undergraduate level. Also, as with the other institutions, it's highly competitive. I'm glad Will brought up the subject of responses and the speed at which we're able to turn around our applications. This year, we've had about 75,000 applications. That's an increase of 11% on last year. And so again, it's very clear that it's a competitive institution in terms of receiving an offer. But as you might imagine, it does vary from one department and one program to the next. And if you are very kind to the student recruitment team at UCL, we may be able to give you some pointers in terms of which programs and departments are maybe less competitive than others. Could I have the next slide, please, Freya? Thank you. Oh, no, previous one. That's it. Thanks. So often we're asked, well, what makes University College London, UCL, different? And I think the best takeaway I can give those of you tuning in today is that it's a unique combination of three factors. The first is that we are a world-leading institution, world-leading university. The second is our London location. And we've actually got two locations in London now, central Bloomsbury location right in the heart of London, very, very leafy area surrounded by beautiful squares and not too far from Regent's Park, one of the lungs of London, you might say. And also we've got a relatively new development, a campus in East London, which my colleague Julie will give you a bit more information about after I've finished. The third factor is that UCL is truly interdisciplinary in its ethos and its approach to its research and its approach to its teaching. So how do I claim that we're a world-leading institution? Well, according to the last Research Excellence Framework, UCL was the #1 university for research strength. There is a huge volume of research output that comes from a university of our size. And we are very happy to say that the average assessment of the value of that research is very, very high. We're also ranked #8 in the world in the 2022 QS World University Rankings. That reputation, both for the research and the fantastic ranking, helps us to really bring in a large volume of research funding. It's that large volume of research funding and also the opportunities to get involved in interdisciplinary research groups, which helps us attract some of the best and brightest academics and professors from around the world. And it's those academics and professors that are not just involved in the research at the institution, but also involved in developing the programs and teaching the programs that the undergraduate students are enrolled on. We've had 30 Nobel Prize winners over the history of the Nobel Prize since 1901. But also one way in which you get a sense of quite how prestigious UCL is and how valuable UCL is to wider society is how often you see UCL name-checked in the media, in newspapers, magazine articles, but also how often you'll see UCL academics and professors popping up as talking heads or offering expert commentary on the burning issues of the day. In terms of our central London campus in Bloomsbury, this is in an area which is termed the London's Knowledge Quarter. It's an area where you'll find not just the UCL campus, and UCL really does have a campus feel. You can actually walk through the gates of the campus. You'll see the portico, which is behind me on my backdrop, and really get a sense of you are in the campus of University College London. But it goes on well beyond the main sort of campus area. It's far more sprawling in terms of its the area that it covers than some of the other institutions here today. But the area itself is full of fantastic resources for students. So as well as being surrounded by other academic institutions, SOAS that Kim mentioned previously is one, it's an area where you'll find a very high concentration of museums, of libraries, but also of research institutes and professional bodies. You'll find the likes of the Royal Society of Biology, the Royal Institute of Philosophy, the Royal Historical Society, the Royal Asiatic Society. And it's these bodies that very regularly will put on talks from visiting academics, talks from visiting experts that the students at UCL can avail themselves of. So it really is a sort of an area of London where you get a feel for academia. And finally, the interdisciplinary ethos of UCL. I mentioned the 11 faculties and 73 departments. You can pretty much study whatever you are interested in at UCL. There are very, very few subject areas that are not covered by one of our programs, and of course, all of that information is available on our prospectus on the website. But one of the things that we're really proud of and we really like to see is the feedback that comes from our students about what they most enjoy about studying at UCL. And very regularly it comes back that they appreciate the interdisciplinarity, which is evident in the different types of students that they are meeting. So in your halls of residence, maybe when you start in your first year, you won't just be meeting students who are on the biology course, but you'll be meeting economists, you'll be meeting budding lawyers. And that's one of the things that really comes across, as well, of course, as being able to take modules from other departments throughout the institution. And of course, the nature of the research that is undertaken at UCL, really knitting together a variety of academic disciplines. I should probably hand over, because time is pushing on now, to my colleague Julie for a little bit about UCL East. But suffice to say that we are also a welcoming bunch in the student recruitment team. So if you've got any particular questions, any things you're having a problem with, anything you would like to know that you cannot easily find out from the website, please do feel free to get in touch with us, interact with us via the conference today. And now I'll hand over to Julie.
That's great. Thank you very much, Neil. So yeah, if we can, that's lovely. Thanks, Petrova. So let's see. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, super. Brilliant. All righty. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what UCL is up to out in East London. So we are creating a new campus on the Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park, and the first buildings are due to open this coming September, and then the next will open from September next year, and that's when some of the new undergraduate programs that we're offering will open. This is the biggest new development at UCL since we were founded almost 200 years ago. It's not the first time that we've expanded our teaching and research activity beyond our Bloomsbury home. There are little examples of this. For example, we have medical students who do some of their training at the Royal Free Hospital, for example. But it is the first opportunity to take the cross-disciplinary way of working and thinking that is in UCL's DNA that Neil's just been talking about, and build a campus that really helps us to supercharge that approach. We're certainly not the first university to expand onto a new site. However, rather than simply move one or two subject areas onto a new site, which might be what you're expecting, our new campus is going to be home when it's fully open to 10 new undergraduate courses and 50 new postgraduate courses that come from almost all of the different faculties that we have at UCL. The courses themselves will still be in distinct fields, but they will all have interdisciplinary thinking and learning at their heart. The facilities will see students learning alongside each other in teaching, learning and research spaces that have been designed by academics and students to meet their needs and make collaboration easy. All students will have the option to take modules that are unique to UCL East courses, and those are in topics that really drive what we do at UCL. So it's things such as sustainability, inclusive design and environments, or fairer innovation. That's just a few examples. Courses will include some community engagement as well, and that's a really important feature of what we're doing at UCL East. So the new courses that we're going to launch in September next year are in robotics and artificial intelligence. We're also going to be launching a course in creative arts and applied humanities, in heritage, in science and engineering for change, sports and exercise medical science, and then a course that is moving across is our BA Media, which is a course that we have launched very recently, and that will be moving to the campus in East London next year. We're also introducing a foundation year for our engineering courses, but this will be for students who typically haven't taken A-levels, but who are excelling in other qualifications, so BTEC, T-levels, for example. And the details of all of these new courses will be in our new prospectus when it goes live online, which we're expecting imminently. In addition to buildings for teaching and research, we're also opening brand new student accommodation on the site as well. And we're expecting that will be open to students, whether they are doing their studying actually at our East Campus or whether they are in our normal home, if you like, of Bloomsbury. It's a really exciting part of London to be in. The Olympic Park is home to East Bank, which is the biggest cultural development in London for over 150 years. UCL is the first part of this to open and will be followed next year and beyond by the London College of Fashion, which is moving lock, stock and barrel to the Olympic Park, Sadler's Wells, which is a world-renowned dance organisation, BBC Music, the Victoria and Albert Museum. So we're going to be in very good cultural company. And this is going to bring more activities and opportunities for engagement. The park, of course, is still home to the former Olympic venues, so the London Stadium, the Aquatic Centre, the Velodrome. So students will have easy access to all of those facilities as well. And then there's the park itself, which has wetlands, it has wildlife. The park itself will be used as a test bed for innovation, so not just a nice place to hang out in, but it will be used as part of our studies. And then, of course, there's the Westfield Stratford shopping mall. So if your preference is for indoor pursuits, then there's shopping, eating and entertainment facilities right on the doorstep there as well. So we will be delighted to show you around when we open in the autumn, and we certainly recommend repeat visits as we open up this year and next year, and we're fully operational from beyond that.
Have you finished, Julie?
I have, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Great, thank you. So I think we've come to the end of our introductory sessions, and I hope, especially for new counsellors, that's really been helpful and some insight for you into us. So it was a bit of a whistle-stop tour, but please check out the website for more information.